Hola, estudiantes. This video is called the passive voice, the passive se, and the impersonal se. La voz pasiva, la se pasiva, y el se impersonal. In English, we also use the passive voice. The passive voice tells you that the subject is receiving the action. You use it by combining the verb to be with the past participle of the verb. And the person who did the action can be expressed with the preposition by. Don Quixote was written by Cervantes. Active voice would be saying Cervantes wrote Don Quixote. So this is the passive voice. In Español, you form the passive voice by using ser and combining it with the past participle. Remember that the past participle, the AR verbs go to ado, ER and IR verbs go to ido, and the irregulars are abierto, dicho, hecho, puesto, escrito, visto, vuelto, cubierto, roto, resuelto, and muerto. So we conjugate ser to agree with the subject receiving the action. We make sure that our past participle agrees in gender and number with the noun receiving the action. And then we make sure that we have the person who did the action expressed with the preposition por. Here's some examples. La novela fue escrita por Cervantes. So here's my subject. Here's my form of ser. Here's my past participle that agrees in gender and number with the noun. And then the person who did the action with por. The novel was written by Cervantes. Los cuentos fueron escritos por Borges. So here's my subject. Here's my form of ser that's conjugated for cuentos. Here's my past participle, which agrees in gender and number with the noun. And then here's who did the action using por. Otro ejemplo. Las pinturas de Dalí serán exhibidas en el Museo de St. Pete. So the form of ser doesn't have to be in the past. This one's in the future. Dalí's paintings will be exhibited in the museum in St. Pete. So again, the past participle, exhibir goes to exhibidas, agrees in gender and number with the noun being described. All right, try this sentence. Esta estatua por Genaro Rivera. I want you to say, this statue was carved by Genaro Rivera. So you should have the preterite of ser, and then you should have the participle of tallar, and it needs to agree in gender and number with estatua. So you should have fue in your first blank and tallado in your second blank. When the person who did the action is either not known or unimportant, you use the passive voice. This is commonly expressed with the pronoun se and the third person form of the verb, which is called the se pasiva. And that verb agrees in number with the noun receiving the action. In other words, that's the way that you conjugate it. For example, se exhiben muchas pinturas en ese museo. So the verb that was used, exhibir, agrees in number with the noun that's receiving the action. In this case, the noun was muchas pinturas. So we conjugated for ellas here to match with ellas here. Se ve mucho arte abstracto en el Museo de Miró. So we conjugated ver to agree in number with the noun that was receiving the action, arte abstracto. So this is like saying many paintings are exhibited in this museum, or a lot of abstract art is seen in Miro's museum. So for those two, I'd please like you to write down the translations. I'll say them again for you. Many paintings are exhibited in this museum. A lot of abstract art is seen in Miro's museum. And then lastly, the pronoun se also can act as the subject of the third person singular form of a verb without an object. That's called the se impersonal, or in English, the impersonal se. It can mean, in English we use words like people, one, you. For example, and I'd like you to write these in both languages, se ensaya en los salones de arriba. You practice in the upstairs room, or people practice in the upstairs rooms. So it's just something that's done. So we use the third person singular form of the verb and a se out front. So it doesn't really say who is practicing in the upstairs rooms, it's just something that is done. People practice in the upstairs rooms. You practice in the upstairs rooms. En España se come bien. In Spain, one eats well. In Spain, people eat well. In Spain, you eat well. It doesn't have a particular person that's actually doing it. It's just a general, impersonal saying what happens in Spain. So that's a little bit of passive voice for you and some impersonal say. Hasta luego.